Hi Andrea. So I'm gonna do a screencast of my project here, the ERP Adempiere installation, and some kind of overview what it is. So first off, it's Adempiere. It's open source ERP system, and it seems very popular. You know, there are a lot of guides and tutorials. Also, if you Google it or you go to YouTube, there are several guides and tutorials how to use it. So there are, it seems it's because obviously it's free and it's open source, which means that you can just take the code and develop it further if you have a need for it, expand it or customize it. And yeah, so here's like an overview of the total ERP or the total installation. Actually, what we're working on today. So this is the main, ERP system, but it also has a point of sale, a web kind of element or module, some login and CRM, and the data repository and the business intelligence. So this is, it's quite big system, and it seems really nice, actually. I've been working with SAP, SAP, the German thing, a former job, and it's heavy stuff. I mean, it's really amazing actually that they can offer open source free ERP system in this manner. So this is kind of the the resources available. So it's fairly easy to get started, install and user guides, manuals, development. It's the community seems fairly large. Okay, so this is the installation guide that comes with the project when you download it, and these are the 6 steps that needed to be, run if you want to install it. I can just, as a note, I only have 15 minutes per screencast, so I might do this screencast in two, or I need to do it in 2 videos. I hope you're fine with that. I'm just gonna post you both the links to where I so you just, yeah, it's gonna be good. Okay, so obviously there were some issues installing the ERP system, and you know that's how it is. So you need to like look at the environment and install it and integrate it into an existing uh, environment, and that's always, it can be challenging. It can be a challenge. So the first thing was that I needed to downgrade my Java SDK version. So I was running on the computer I started out, installing on. Had a 1.7, I think, SDK Java, and it didn't work. So I needed to find an older SDK and install that. I think I went with 1.6, and that works fine. They suggest 1.5. So obviously it built for that. And this ERP is not the newest thing in the world. Probably 10, 30, 12 years, something like that. And the next thing you're supposed to do is install a database. And I went with the PostgreSQL, installed it, everything went fine. But when I wanted to integrate it or install the Adempiere, it didn't really want to connect to the PostgreSQL. So I went uninstalled it and went with the Oracle one instead, and that seemed to work fine. So there was a small issue there for me at least. And then there was this third thing that was really annoying, but it didn't have anything to do with software versions or anything else. It was a completely different issue I had, and it was that my computer name and my Windows user were called my fairy's name, and and this is kind of I have this document here. Uh, so I've kind of made a log of these trying to install these things, so I can see what happened, and I can go back in time and document it, kind of, right? Okay, so the thing is, my computer system user, Windows system user, had my name, my real fairy's name, and it has two special characters. So the A and the I in the end has kind of this, and the installation used, obviously, it needs to save the newly generated file somewhere, and it started with, so it messed up the system, the path to where it tries to save things. You can see here D, and this special character, and this path doesn't exist in real life because my has special characters. So there was one issue I needed to, So I started to, and this is the installation map, my first try. So it has all this scripts here and different stuff. And for example, it generates these kinds of files where it sets some variables that the system reads every time it loads up. So for example, this would be the user, right? Users, and which user? This user, and this user doesn't exist. And I went in and changed it some places. Okay, for example, the computer name is here, and it also has this special characters, and this name doesn't exist, so it wasn't work. So I went on and tried to correct it some places, but it became ridiculous because it was all over the place, the paths. So I just said, okay, I need to do it all over again, and I had to borrow another computer from work, which had a fresh Windows installation, and the username was a normal name, a usable name, a valid name. So that's one thing we need to make sure that both the computer and the username, Windows username, uses normal characters. Okay, so my thing here that we need to do is run this run setup script. So I want to show you what that does. It's here. It's this bat file. Okay, sorry for that. There was a small interruption here. Okay, so this is the run setup bat script that you need to run to start the installation, and this would be the to start the setup. So the thing that it does, it sets some, it checks something, writes something out. That something would be the Java home. Okay, so it sets some jar files. I have actually opened all these jar files to have a look at. Inside them, it's just Java classes, and projects. There's a MySQL connector here, and further down, then it goes to and then it runs this one, sign database build bat file, and so let's have a look at that. Utils was run database build. Here you go. So the first thing this does, it checks for Adempiere home system variable, and it calls this. This is just an where it sets all the environments variables, and this is this script. And here you can say this is actually generated files when you start the installation process, and you can say it sets the database server and all these different parameters, and it makes them available. So in fact, when the system boots up, it reads these files and sets all these variables. Here you can see also so here the actual username is correct, right? All in this file. So there are some issues with that, obviously. Okay. So where did we see that? Yeah, and it also sets some new jar files up and stuff. Okay, so then it goes on and reads some other. So let's not have a look at all these things. Okay, let's do this. Call run win environment path. This one, I don't know what this does. So it sets some client environments, and it's quite funny because it uses JavaScript files. So it runs JavaScript files. That's pretty Adempiere utils win environment. So we're in the there it is. So this is a Java file. Let's see what else that does. So this sets up Windows environment. Okay, this is from 2006. Okay, yeah. So it's 7 years old or something. That's good. So this is just plain JavaScript. It's quite interesting, actually. Yeah. Okay, so let's not mess more with that. Change log covers the yeah, here it is. Yeah. So this is the first script that we are running here. Let's close that and see what's next up. And that worked first time. It didn't work. So on this computer, it actually worked fine, actually. And then the next thing is that you need to create a Dampier database. And there was some interesting. I was looking for, where's the database script or where's the thing. So I have a running database, and we have the apps server and I running Java SDK. So here's where this is what the result of this, I guess. So when you run and create a Adempiere database, this is how it looks. Okay. So let's have a look at run import Adempiere. I think it's in the utils, right? Run import. Here it is. See what that does. So yeah. So it calls the environment. This is something we saw earlier. If it's not set, they set all the environments there. And so this is actually, when you echo, this is where you actually write something out to the screen. And it's, if you have a look at Adempiere home data, Adempiere DMP, it could be interesting. So this is the data, Adempiere DMP, Adempiere. There it is. So I think I know what we're gonna find here. See if this looks familiar. Create sequence increment by one start. So yeah, create table. Obviously, this is their data, their objects here are serializable data. And I'm not quite sure what there are some things here, but obviously this would be what the Dampier installation needs to DMP. So this is the actual import of and creation of the database, the tables, the database itself, the tables, and it inserts all the data. And as you can see, there's a huge amount of imports here. Table alter data, this and that, and it's huge. So this is it's quite interesting to see what's happening there. and that was the